Hello and welcome to Building the Premier Accounting Firm. I'm your host, Roger Knecht, and this is going to be a special episode of the podcast. It's just going to be me, no guest. Basically, it's going to be kind of a reflection episode, and at the same time, something to look forward to the new year. So enjoy this moment with me because we're going to do a little bit of reflection and at the same time planning to help you work on your business. And as just part of this, I want to just reach out to, first of all the listeners, you, and thank you for this past year. It's been amazing. It's been wonderful to actually run into some of the listeners and get the positive feedback that I've received. I've appreciated the input, the suggestions, the thoughts, the topic suggestions that have come. So keep those coming. But at the same time, I've enjoyed the stories of basically how people have not only heard and implemented, but how it's benefited their businesses. They've taken the various principles that we've addressed and talked about and literally applied them in their companies. So very pleased with that. As a reflection of this past year, I just want to point out that we did cover quite a few topics. I was just looking over the guests that we had. There's been, if I dare say, celebrities, a lot of well-known people that I've been privileged to have on the show, some wonderful conversations, if nothing else, diving into their histories and kind of sharing their stories. But the one thing that I've really enjoyed is the fact that we've been so diverse in our topics. I was just looking over the various things that we've covered and been impressed with just the things that people have brought up, ranging from, like you always hear me say at the intro, the marketing, the selling, the pricing, the onboarding, the services, just the breadth of things that have come up in the conversations. And I'm happy to see that we've been able to address all of these things with a lot of depth and content this past year. I don't know if everyone's aware of this, and if you've been listening for some time, I'm sure that you're at least in the loop of this is our third year now doing the podcast. And in those 3 years, we've definitely gone on a journey. We've evolved. I think we've gotten much, much better. And I'm happy to share with you that we've got some exciting new things that we're discussing for 2023. And these new things are just like what I would expect you to be doing in your own company. Just how can we make things different, better, and more applicable to the clients that we serve? And that is you. So with that reflection, I just wanted to give you some thoughts as to what it is that you can be doing now to work on your business. And so I'm going to take a moment to share with you a few things that I do in the business as I run our company, Universal Accounting Center. And as we're doing this, just share with you some of the things that we've recently been doing as we've prepared to end the year and then prepared to really get ready for the new year. So here's what I've done. And if you've not done this in your own company, consider doing this for yourself. The first thing is we met back in November and sat down as a management team to really reflect on the year to date. And in that conversation, everyone was given an opportunity to really share their thoughts as it relates to three important questions. And I want you to consider these for your own self. The first is, what's going right? What is going well? And we just wanted to take a moment and just reflect on the things that we're doing correctly, what it is that we want to make sure we continue to do because it's working well, and really kind of celebrate the successes we're having and make note of those and give a chance to everyone to really kind of share what it is that they feel is going right. Now, the next thing is we then spent time, and highly recommend you do this, to ask yourself what needs to improve. It's really doing a self-assessment of your processes. It's different things regarding your client and customer interactions, just to really say, hey, what could we do differently or better? And it's in that process that we were able to identify things that we felt needed attention. And from that, really get some ideas of what it is we should be working on next. And it was in that conversation that we just kind of captured what those things may be so that we could take some time to reflect on them. And I'll bring that up in a moment. The next question we asked is, what new things do we feel we need to be doing in the new year? Now, when we met back in November, this was obviously a little bit away from the new year, but it did give us a chance to now kind of share, here's what we think we ought to be doing that we're not now doing, that our clients would appreciate, benefit from, that we have at least the skills to offer or should go acquire the skills to provide. And it was in that conversation that we really kind of brainstormed, what could we be doing next? What could add in the new year to that process? And then we ended the meeting. And in ending the meeting, we really came away with some big, hairy, audacious goals. We call those BHAGs. And at the same time, had some things to think about. Now we then got together again mid-December, so a month later, and in mid-December sat down and really said, okay, we reflected previously on the year, let's now look forward. And in looking forward, those things that we identified that we wanted to improve we wanted to sit down and get some actionable items. We've had some time to think about it, but now what are we going to do? What are we going to do the first quarter of the year to actually implement these things to improve the processes, the systems, the things that we're doing in the business, the customer experience that's happening, the value of what we're providing. And it's in that process that we identified actionable things that we could delegate and assign to individuals with due dates that people could actually implement. And I encourage you to do the same. We then also asked the question, as you'll remember, what we could do that's new, something that we don't have in place currently that we could start providing, whether we already had the skill sets or, more importantly, could go get them because we were excited to now provide that to our customer base. Well, it's in that process that we then identified which of those new things will we actually do in the new year. Because back in November, it was more a question of what could we do? Well, in December, it's, okay, which are we going to do and what are the actionable items that we need to do to make it happen? And so in that process, we really had a great discussion of what those things are. We assigned those out. We gave some timelines to them. What are we going to do to improve maybe in the first quarter? What are we going to do new that's in the second, third, and fourth quarter so that we can end the year of 2023 with some very specific things that we've implemented that are perhaps bringing in additional revenue streams or enhancing the client customer experience, maybe retaining longer. It's just basically addressing the various things that are obviously key to our success as a business. These things are ones that I would suggest you all also do. Really step away from your business. Do, as we refer to it, a retreat. Kind of step aside from the business day-to-day operations. If possible, go somewhere other than the office so that you're not interrupted as you have this meeting or this process, or perhaps involve those that are part of your team. And as you do this, really kind of just get away from all those distractions that come up in the day-to-day operations of the business and just reflect on what's going well, what needs to improve, and what new can you do to enhance the experience with the customer, or more importantly, offer new value. So with that, we've got some exciting things planned for Universal Accounting in 2023. It's going to be another amazing year. I'm very excited to have heard what my team had to share. It gets me excited to see their enthusiasm, their desire to take and do things, and honestly be at a point in the business where it's not all my ideas, where it's not always me having to come up with things. That's exciting to realize you've got a team of individuals that are taking the initiative, that are seeing opportunities and trying to seize them. And that's what I'm excited to see what will come in the new year. So with that being said, I challenge you to really kind of self-reflect on you personally, on you professionally, on your business, the team of people you have, the processes, the technology you're utilizing, the services that you're providing. And to help with this, I've got something that I'd like to share with you that I'm sure you've maybe heard me share before, but I'd like to restate it. And it's related to building the premier accounting firm. And it's essentially the three core services that make up what a premier firm should be offering its clients, or very well could be offering the client. And it's basically accounting and bookkeeping services, tax planning and preparation services, and CFO and advisory services. These are 6 things that really you can choose which you choose to offer. Now, it doesn't have to necessarily mean you do all of these for the clients. You could hire or employ experts in each area, and in doing so, have the clients pay for those specific things that they're getting. But let me just real quickly reflect on what each is so that you can consider them as you're now contemplating the new year, what it is you're going to maybe offer, what it is you may look at bringing in or adding to your business. But let's start with bookkeeping. Obviously, in the accounting space, it's not unheard of for us to do the bookkeeping. That's where we're preparing the financial reports for the clients, doing the compliance work. But so many choose to just stop right there, and that's entirely fine, especially if that's what the client's paying for. But we can take that accounting information and now actually use it to find trends, identify what's going on in the business, tell a narrative to the client, help identify what's going on in the business beyond just providing those reports. That's where you're doing assessments of maybe last month to previous month, it's last month to the same month last year, running a variety of reports to just see how the company's changing, evolving, and drawing those changes to the attention of the business owner and drawing to attention the things that you see because you're outside of the day-to-day operations of the business. As an accounting firm, you have the opportunity to bring a different perspective, maybe address cash flow and what's going on with receivables and the aging receivables. I mean, there's just a myriad of things that you can do that's above and beyond bookkeeping that's part of the accounting role. The next would be tax planning and preparation. You could just solely do tax preparation. Many firms that I work with, that's all they do is tax preparation, and they're very happy and very successful. But you could also complement that with tax planning services. This is where you're taking time throughout the year to work with the client to identify specifically things that they can be doing to take advantage of the legal laws that enable them to, say, research and development, cost segregation, just a variety of things that, if done, could really improve the tax liability of the business and lessen their tax liability legally. Well, that's tax planning. It's literally things that need to be implemented and decided on early in the year, need to be done before year end. It's purchases, it's acquisitions, it's a variety of things, but it's all done as a strategy. And it's something that's very well paid for by the client for your services because of your expertise, your knowledge, your know-how. In addition to that, you also have CFO and Advisory Services. I've had numerous conversations as of late and in recent roundtable discussions with owners of firms have found that of all of the new services that they intend to offer, payroll, taxes, whatever, it rises to the top that they're interested in offering CFO and advisory services. I believe that there's two things going on here. Many of the people that I work with realize that they're perhaps already doing this for the clients and not being paid for it. They're not charging for it. It's not a defined service or offering that they've explained, and therefore, as it comes up as the client interaction's going on, they're just not charging for it. The second thing is a lot of times as you work with your clients, you acquire an insight, a perspective that is unique. And as you have these experiences with your clients, you may have a perspective that you can bring to the client relationship that they're not paying for, but if they had paid for it, you would provide it and really perhaps give them some perspective on their business that they don't have that could really make a difference and be a game changer for them. And so to come in and fill that role of CFO could really be a beneficial capacity. Just to clarify what that means is you're perhaps getting involved in helping implement policies that affect cash flow, how receivables are managed. It's perhaps getting into the relationships or being part of the discussions with the lending institutions, the banks, maybe the venture capitalists, the investors. Perhaps it's getting involved with the receivables and how things are being collected. It's payables, going to the vendors and setting up new terms, maybe extending net 30s to net 60s and so forth. It's just basically getting in and helping the business, not only with its third-party relationships, but implementing policies as it relates to, cash flow. How much is the customer paying in advance for services being rendered versus only paying once the product or services are delivered? It's helping the business no longer be that bank that's fronting the payroll, the cost of goods before delivering that product or service. These things are sometimes overlooked by the business owner that you can bring to the table in a CFO capacity and be really instrumental in changing how that business is running and how profitable it is. The last part of that is the advisory work. I do feel that oftentimes as accounting professionals, we have the opportunity to step outside of our advisory role as accounting professionals and get into things related to human resources, sales and marketing, really the things that impact the valuation of a business. And if we could literally just address those, we can find ourselves in a much more valuable relationship with our clients. They'll pay us very well for that capacity. But obviously, we're then extending and solidifying the client relationship and retention of that client, providing those services. So I share all this with you with the very simple hope that it will give you a chance to reflect on what you're currently providing as services and what you may want to consider doing this next year. You definitely don't need to do all, and it doesn't have to all be done at once, but it does give you a chance to realize what potential you have with your clients if you so choose. And it doesn't, again, have to be you. You could literally hire someone else, delegate these other responsibilities, and have on staff an accounting expert, a bookkeeping expert, a tax expert, and so forth. Now, the other thing that I wanted to share with you is what we kind of plan to do in the coming year. We've got some exciting things for the podcast that will be a complement. You may have noticed already in 2022, we tested something that was fairly new and just kind of still assessing how beneficial it was. We tried doing video recordings in a studio of our interviews. And in those, it's kind of interesting. It's not audio only, they're video. And so if you've had a chance to, let's say, go to YouTube, you've perhaps seen the interviews that I've had with the guests, and those have gone over very well. It's kind of a unique or different experience. And really, I find those very rewarding. But we're just trying to see, do you like those versus the audio only? And so that's something that we've been evaluating. We've also been testing things such as how frequently we should be releasing episodes. Is it worth our releasing one a week, or is it better to do 2 a week? We've tested that to see what kind of interest there is in that quantity of information. So we're definitely changing, testing, evolving, and seeing what best meets your needs as you're choosing to work on your business and listen to this podcast with the intent of basically learning and implementing these things in your own company. So with that, we have additional things that we'll be testing in the new year. We've got some topical things that we're planning on testing that we'll be bringing to you that I feel are going to be very, very helpful. And in doing so, see if they're of value and interest and whether or not people like them. So we do have some exciting things that you can pay attention to in the new year. But what I'd like to end on today is, wow, what an amazing year. This has been a beautiful experience. I know that everybody has experienced ups and downs, successes and struggles, but all in all, very, very grateful. I'm grateful for not only you as listeners, but my colleagues with whom I work. I'm grateful for the support staff. Many of you may not be aware, but I have a producer that makes this possible. Each and every time we record, he's very attentive to the technology and making this come out so that it's of good quality. I've got a great assistant that is involved in publishing these and getting them out so that they're made known so that people are aware of them. So this isn't just me. This is a team of individuals, and sometimes they're not spoken of, and I like to give a shout out to them. But I also have my colleagues at Universal Accounting, as we're working with owners of accounting firms, helping them identify what's that next challenge or opportunity that they would like to address, what they would like to work on as business owners for themselves or train their staff in order to allow them to become, as I obviously promote, the premier accounting firm in their area. And in doing so, take advantage of the courses that we offer. And I'm very proud of not only the curriculum, but the coaching that we're providing, the successes we're experiencing. So with all that being said, I invite you, see what more you can do to work on yourself, your business, and really take it to a whole new level. The last thing I'd want to point out is we do have our annual event. It's a conference for owners of accounting firms. It basically is for the accountants, bookkeepers, tax preparers, the CFOs, the advisors, a chance for them to all come and basically in a live environment, meet one another, collaborate, learn from one another, hear from the experts, and at this conference, literally listen and hear all the things that can and should be done in the business to do it right. It's the best practices, but also hear what's going on the horizon, what's coming, what do we need to be aware of and be watching. So I invite you, if you haven't already, register, and I'd love to meet you there, learn of you and what it is you're experiencing, and I invite you to join us. It is in May. In May, we'll actually have what's called pre-con, preceding the event, where we literally just go out and enjoy one another's company, do some sociable things that are just fun and exciting. And in that experience, just grow closer together and kind of listen and learn from one another. And then after 2 days of relaxation and enjoyment, we go just fire hydrant ready into a Monday, Tuesday conference where you're getting tons of information that you can use to implement in your business. And I invite you to join us. Come to both pre-con and GrowCon and make the most of it. The last thing I'd like to say is congratulations to you. I hope that you're as excited as I am for the new year. I expect that this new year is going to be full of many surprises as well as adventures, and I hope that you feel, as I do, ready and eager to take them on and make the most of this. I try to look at life in a very optimistic way, that even with its challenges, there are things, opportunities that I can learn from, new people I get to meet, new experiences I get to have with them. And from this, believe that I'm a better person each and every year from the things I've grown to learn. I like who I am. I hope you like who you are. I hope you love what you're doing. I want you to know you are making a difference. What you do for your clients does matter. What you do for your clients is helping. And honestly, I do believe that as an accounting profession, we make a difference in the clients that we service. We empower them to actually make more informed business decisions, allowing them to navigate some of the difficulties they may be facing and do so confidently. And I hope you feel the same about your own business. In the process of saying all this, I do want to encourage you to make the most of the new year. Take it on. Just go at it headstrong, and more importantly, don't do it alone. Check back with us here at building the premier accounting firm. Reach out to us at Universal Accounting. Listen to the experts. We've got some recorded sessions that are already done for the new year that you're going to be hearing very shortly. Share those. As you hear different episodes that you feel resonate with peers or friends, share these and get them out there. And lastly, if you're new to the podcast and you're just hearing this for the first time, welcome. And definitely subscribe. Subscribe to the podcast. Go back and binge listen to the previous episodes. We've got now 3 years worth of episodes that you can go back and listen to. We started this before COVID. We were through that entire experience together. And here we are on the other side making the most of it. So go back and binge those, see what episodes would appeal to and meet your needs as you're working on your business to, in fact, build a premier accounting firm and, most importantly, get paid what you're worth. So with all that being said, if you would like to apply these principles, learn more about what we can do to assist you as the business owner or train your staff, basically help you build the premier accounting firm, feel free to give us a phone call. You can reach us at 801-265-3777, or you can also visit us online. You can go to universalaccounting.com and there find a variety of free resources such as the podcast, but other tools that are free for owners of accounting firms, as well as go to Universal Accounting School and there see the various programs, resources, trainings, certifications that we offer to the accounting profession to, in fact, help you build the premier accounting firm. Always remember this. If it's about accounting, it is universal. Take care. Have a great day and be safe out there.